Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner,
Brenan Estes.
and now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner,
Ryan Johnson.
it's time!
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
All right, welcome back. It's Wednesday, August 17th, in the beautiful sunny outside Tampa Bay, Florida. This is the official weigh-ins with your host, Brenan Estes, and my co-host,
Ryan Johnson.
Welcome back. We got a big couple things to weigh in, but mostly today, we're weighing in on UFC 202. You guys all want to talk about it. We want to talk about it. We're going to start off today with the Fight Press prelim main event, which is Magny versus Lorenz Larkin. Whew, this is going to be a burner right here. I think it's a stand-up battle. I don't think it's going to the ground, right?
I believe this is actually a better fight than the original fight against Dong Young Kim. I think Lorenz Larkin is a tough cookie at 170. He actually used to fight at 185. I don't know if you remember, but in Strikeforce, this man was the next big thing for them. He has wins over people like Robbie Lawler. This guy's no slouch. Since he's came into the UFC, though, Lorenz, he's had a kind of rocky road. He's 4 for 10 right now in the UFC.
Yeah, he was on a 3-fight losing streak on the brink of getting cut, and then he wins on a 2-fight win streak. So he definitely saved himself
against
from
a
getting
tough
caught.
guy in Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, he just beat Jorge, yeah. But before that, lost to Albert Tumenov. You know, come on. Who's this guy? No offense to Albert Tumenov. I don't know you. But
like we were getting back to the fight, he's a tough guy to really fight for Magny.
Magny coming off a 3-fight win streak right now, beating Hector Lombard, Kelvin Gastelum, and Eric Silva. Those are no slouches.
On top of that, his last loss was against Damian Maia. Prior to that, he was on a 7-fight win streak. So Magny, out of his last 11 fights, has won 10 of them. Pretty amazing. I think it's going to be a great stand-up war, but Magny, I think his ground game is a little bit more superior than Lorenz Larkin.
I agree. I think they stand, though, and I think it's going to be a burner.
I think it'll be a good fight on the feet, but if Magny's smart and gets him to the ground, I think he could do what he wants with him.
What do you think happens if Magny wins? Coming on a 3-fight win streak, I mean, that'd be 4. You give him a shot?
If Magny wins in a fantasy world, I really want to see him fight Carlos Condit. I just want to see that fight. No matter what happens with Damian Maia and Carlos, I really would like to see that style matchup.
They're both stand-up guys, yeah. Play the reach, play it, definitely.
They both are jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah, and I mean, Lorenz Larkin isn't the competition to put you in title contention.
Exactly.
You know, so.
And it sucks to say because you look at that kind of fight record and you look at a guy like Magny, he's still only number 7. I like Magny in this fight. I'm going to go with Magny taking the win by submission. I'm going to say second round because Lorenz Larkin, I've seen him gas. He's going to throw heavy leather in the beginning, and then I think Magny will take him into the deep waters in the second and submit him.
Oof. I like Lorenz Larkin's stand-up game. I think Magny, just outclasses him. I mean, with the competition he's beat the last 3 fights, I think Lorenz Larkin is nothing short of the next guy, in front of him right now.
How do you think he wins?
I think he knocks him out, honestly. I think he catches him. Or it goes to decision. I don't know.
Well, yeah, his last fight, he was on wobbly legs against Hector Lombard, and he came back and knocked him out. A tough guy in Hector Lombard as well.
Yeah.
So he definitely has power in his hands, and I could see him knocking out Larkin as well.
Yeah. And then we got the main prelim on Fox Sports 1 of the night, Cody Garbrandt versus Takeya Mizugaki. I like Garbrandt in this, but I think it's going to be a good fight. What do you think?
I was kind of shocked they gave Garbrandt a guy under him in Mizugaki. Garbrandt being ranked number 8, Mizugaki being ranked number 11. Mizugaki hasn't had a win since 2015 against George Roop. It's not like he's had a really bad record for say, but it's just not a big name. If we're talking about Cody Garbrandt moving up into title contention, I want to see him fight a top 5 guy. What do you think?
He's on a 9-fight win streak dating back to his first fight as a pro. Last fight beat Thomas Almeida, knockout. All knockouts his whole career, too. Only one decision against Enrique Briones. So the guy loves to knock out people.
89% KO ratio.
that's
a lot
no
of
joke.
knockouts.
That's no joke. Yeah, against 5% of Mizugaki's. That's not good.
and like I said, George Roop is a good fighter and all, but who is George Roop in the bantamweight division right now?
I mean, before that, he did lost to Aljamain Sterling and Dominic Cruz. Not bad competition.
So how do you see the fight going, Brenan?
I see No Love definitely knocking out Mizugaki. I'm going to go first round, saying, hello, come here, Dominic Cruz. Get your butt out of here, and let's fight for the belt.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think Cody No Love Garbrandt is going to knock out Takeya Mizugaki in the first round, put the pressure on him, look like an animal, just like he did against Thomas Almeida. I think that fight sells. I could definitely see him get the next title shot, but deservingly so. I'd like to see him fight a little bit better of a competition, even the TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah. Dominic Cruz said, you're a smaller CM Punk. That's what he calls Garbrandt.
I think that's a tough fight for Dom, but Dom's footwork and Garbrandt's boxing, it's a very interesting fight.
The way Dom fights, it's just hard to count him out against anybody. I mean, yeah, Garbrandt's knocking out guys, but Dominic's just a man, moving the way he does, and he just wins fights. And then we got the first 2 of the main card, okay, but we're going to skip to our boy, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, fighting Rick Story. Ooh, Rick Story's, 3-fight win streak, but still not that great a competition, but Cowboy on a 2-fight win streak. I mean, I love my boy, but what you thinking about this, Rye?
This is a very difficult fight to call for me because whenever I count Rick Story out, he always comes back and pulls off the win. So Rick Story, to me, is a lot like a Jake Ellenberger, a guy who's short, stocky wrestler, but he's got these big hands, big bombs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough for Donald Cerrone. If Donald Cerrone can actually keep his distance, keep Rick Story from getting his hands on him and box him up a little bit, I could definitely see Donald Cerrone taking this fight again and winning his 3rd welterweight fight.
Last 2 fights he won against Patrick Cote, Alex Cowboy Oliveira, but still good guys, And before that, he was on a huge fight win streak before losing for the belt for Dos Anjos. So.
And both fights at welterweight were both finishes, I could definitely see Cowboy going in and finishing Rick Story. But Rick Story is no slouch when it comes to the wrestling.
Can't count the whore out, man.
He's the
Rick
whore.
the whore Story for a reason, man. The guy is a true vet, just like Cowboy. I mean, I think this is just going to be a fun fight. They're going to put it on for the fans. Definitely going to put one on for the fans. Make sure you're in your seats for this one. I'm sure you will be.
Rick Story, no slouch himself, being on a 3-fight win streak, 2 by decision, 1 by submission. He's ready to come and fight as well that night. I don't see him just going to give up to Cerrone. Some guys have recently just been giving up in fights, and I don't see Story being one of them.
No, I mean, fighting 27 times as a pro, versus you got Cowboys 37, but still, these guys are true vets. I think they're just going to put one on for the fans. They're not going to the ground. If they do, I think it'd be short-lived and they get back up. So I like Cerrone, and I go 2nd round. He finishes him.
I like Cerrone as well. I think it'll go a little bit deeper, probably into the 3rd round. I think he's going to TKO him. I think by body kicks.
That'd be interesting.
Some vicious body kicks. I think that's a big key in Donald Cerrone's arsenal.
That'd be definitely interesting.
If he wins, where's he go from here?
Who? Cowboy?
Yeah.
Gosh. He's the man. He's just going to probably step in, take another quick fight.
Well, this right here is the big platform. I think if he's ready for a money fight, he needs to call out somebody.
Somebody big.
I'm
You're
thinking after this fight, he says, I want my rematch against Nate Diaz. 170, let's go.
Yeah, because, McGregor has to go back and defend his belt. So Nate's free for a little date in New York.
Super
Co-main
fight.
event, little super fight, Cowboy Nate. I love it.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Let's run it back at 170 this time.
Yeah, I love it. Don't get me wrong.
I'd really enjoy seeing those two fight again because I think Cerrone has really changed a lot of his game. And that first fight initially, he was a little tedious, scared, if you could say.
Yeah, I agree. But with the next fight, co-main event of the night, Glover Teixeira versus Anthony Johnson. I mean, AJ's on a 2-fight win streak since fighting Daniel Cormier. And then you got Glover on a 3-fight win streak. These guys are just animals. You know it's not going nowhere near the ground. And unless Glover takes him down, I don't think he does. What do you think, Ryan?
It's not going to the ground, Brenan.
Yeah. I didn't think
These
so.
two are going to slug it out and bang and put on a show. I'm almost not more excited than the main event for this fight, but close to just as excited, knowing that these two are going to throw their hands. I like Glover Teixeira and what he's been doing in this recent 3-fight win streak. Two of them, KO and Rashad and Patrick Cummings, and he even
submitted OSP.
Yeah, you know, in a fight of the night performance with OSP, which was a great fight as well. So Glover has really kind of transformed himself again into something special. But he is fighting Rumble. I think AJ is the kind of guy, once he knocks somebody out, he changes their career. He makes them think differently about their own chin because he hits them that hard.
And he's hungry, man. I've been watching the embeddeds. I think he wants that title shot. He told everybody, they're like, you think you get the title shot after this? I know I get the title shot after this.
On a 2-fight win streak, beating guys like Bader, and actually he retired Jimmy Manuwa.
Yeah.
Put him into retirement. So.
Oh, that's what he can do, man, with those fists. So.
Who do you like?
I got to take AJ. I think he catches him quick. I don't think it goes deep. No deep waters today. Not in that fight. And I think he catches him first round knockout, Anthony Johnson.
I agree with you once again, Brenan. I'm going first round knockout, Anthony Rumble Johnson. And I also am going to have to say it's going to be within the first 30 seconds to a minute.
Oof.
I think that one of them are going to go down, and I think it's going to be Glover. But either way, it's going to be a great fight.
I like that. I think it's going to be quick, too, because it's one way or the other. It's going to be quick, I think.
I'm talking lights out KO, too. We're not talking TKO.
Yeah.
Someone's going to sleep in this one.
Fireworks. Boom. Everyone's going to remember this. Might steal the show. Co-main event might steal the show.
That's why I'm saying I'm almost as excited for that fight as I am the McGregor-Diaz rematch.
And then we got the one, the only, the rematch. Everybody's been talking about it. We want to talk about it. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Number 2. Well, just start it off, Ryan.
Oh, man.
Where do you start with this thing?
This is a special fight. This is what we talk about every week when we say money fight. This is the money fight.
This is what they started the money fight almost now. Not technically. Of course, it's been in boxing for ages, but this right here, UFC. This is now making guys think that they can get this kind of money.
Dana's saying this is going to break every record.
Record.
I believe him because what Nate is doing is fascinating. This guy right now is selling tickets by being himself. Everybody's finally recognizing who the Diaz brothers are and how interesting they are by just being themselves. He's a big needle pusher.
Like we said earlier, last one, I mean, Nate Diaz everywhere. And now Conor's starting to get on this media tour a week ahead because they don't even need him. I mean, this thing is going to sell itself. This thing, just like Dana said, will be the #1 pay-per-view they've ever had. It's going to break all the records. And, hey, I hope I can watch it. I'm going to be up in Michigan at a wedding. Listen, guys, I'm going to have to get out of this wedding and go watch this fight because I cannot miss it. Okay, but trust me, I will.
It's brutal.
It stinks. I got to do, we got to do what we got to do. Girl duties, but shoot. The girl calls. She wants to go to the wedding up in Michigan. We're going to Michigan. But trust me.
It's a tough one to miss.
I won't miss it. I'm not missing this fight. I already told her we're going to have to get out of there a little early and cut out because I got to watch this UFC fight. This is the one I've been waiting for.
I think it's crazy, though, how much they've been pushing Nate in these videos, like the bad blood and all these embedded videos. It's crazy how much of a different light they're showing Nate in now.
The soft side?
No, just pushing him, like in the fact of he's getting
the
push. Like Conor and Ronda, he's getting a push, almost like the UFC are thinking that he is going to beat Conor as well.
Hey, I mean, they think it because it happened once. Dana thinks he's going to beat him. They ask him, what do you think's going to happen? He says the same thing.
You got this guy going on Jimmy Fallon and Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, that's a lot for Nate Diaz coming from a guy who honestly doesn't have very good social skills and speaking skills.
I saw a little thing that he was saying off the record or someone caught it on a thing. Nate Diaz is like, I wanted to take the fight at 155 so I could just shut him up so he can't even have an excuse. He don't even want it at 170. He's like, let's change it to 155.
I like Conor in this fight as well, though. He's been changing up his routine, sparring, what was it, over 150 rounds? Spending $300,000 on his training camp. So he's pushing it to major extremes. The way I see Conor winning in this fight is by outpointing Nate.
I mean, he did in the first one. He was beating him, but he just gassed out. And I've been watching. He's riding bikes. He's doing things he's never done because he realizes he has to go deep. Like you can't train for the first round knockout. You got lucky with Aldo getting that first hit.
That's what I'm saying. You can't throw 100% into every punch. He knows that now going into it. I think he's going to start trying to go for points in the first 2 rounds. Like, look at Floyd Mayweather. He will run around the ring for the first 2 rounds. 3rd round, he'll stand in the middle and brawl with you and throw his heavy punches when he needs to. 4th, 5th round, he'll run around. 6th and 7th, he'll stand in the middle and box with you. And then he'll go on the rope-a-dope.
Champion's know how to pace himself. You
exactly.
have to know. Yeah.
So Conor has to be researching a lot of this, and especially since he's been boxing too, he's got to know how to throw that power and when to throw it as well.
I think he's definitely going to learn from his mistakes and comes back. Conor beats him. I don't think it goes the distance. I mean, his hands are he was throwing him in that first fight.
He was throwing him, and on top of that, let's not forget, when Conor got on the ground with Nate, he actually reversed Nate and ended up on top into Nate's guard. Yeah. So, I mean, he didn't look bad at the end of that first round with the ground game. He definitely knows how to roll. Yeah. But right now, is he going to throw the power shots at the beginning? And I think we all know the answer to that question. It's no.
Yeah, well, it's just, and also, I mean, his chin. Nate can eat all these punches. That's the also thing people forget. Like, he ate them all, and then he was still ready to go, bleeding everywhere. Like, he's just, if Conor wants to win, he has to take them deep. I don't think Nate gets caught with some random knockout.
He's a 10-year veteran in his own right. He's been fighting in the UFC since 20 years old. Yeah. He's gotten hit in the head a lot, and I'm sure he could take a lot more anyways. The thing with Nate is Nate needs to put the pressure on him like he did last time, get Conor on the cage, and wear Conor down quick. Because I think he knows he's bigger, stronger than Conor, and once he does that again and puts that knee into his gut again, I think that's when things will change, and I see Nate Diaz taking this rematch.
That's what you got?
I think Nate Diaz is going to win this rematch. Most likely, I would say the 3rd, 4th round. I think it goes into a little bit of deeper waters. I don't see him going to completely finish him in the beginning. I see him waiting back for Conor and letting Conor do his thing.
I don't know. I know Nate beat him the first one, but I think we already have a bet on this because you already know who I'm taking. The Irishman, Conor McGregor. I think he wins it. I think he beats him, knocks him out 3rd round. I think he finishes. I think he finished him because he just pounded him too much.
See, that's the thing. He's gonna have to knock Nate out. There's no submitting Nate. He has to knock Nate out. I don't see Nate knocking Conor out though necessarily. So that's why I'm calling a 4th round submission. Ooh. Rear naked choke again.
I just went back in the archives. We have a $2 bet. I have Conor McGregor. You have Nate Diaz. I wrote it down in the phone. It's in the archives.
Oh, I'm ready to win that.
I don't know about that. I think.
What about your bet you got going with Vincent Jackson over there?
Yeah, he wanted Nate Diaz. I gave him Nate Diaz. I'm taking Conor. And then he wants Glover Teixeira. I'll take AJ. You already know, BJ.
Well, you already paid up that $1 for that Cerrone fight you lost.
Woodley, he deserved that $1. I did not think Woodley was going to knock out Robbie Lawler like that. That was unbelievable, and I still think it's unbelievable.
This is a great call by him from an underdog in Tyron Woodley going into that fight.
He might know something. If he gets both these fights right, there's something up, Vincent.
Vincent's been going deep in the training camps.
Right, he's got the inside scoop.
That
over
special
there.
Buccaneers perk.
I don't have the inside scoop, but I think I got my stats in my head, and I think I know.
I think you're gonna win one and lose one with Vincent. That's for sure.
We'll see.
You guys will break even on this one. Regardless, it's going to be a great fight. I can't wait for it. It's fight of the year, in my opinion. It's the UFC 200, and it's going to rock the world. It's the UFC 200, though.
It's bigger.
Let's be
just
honest.
Like Dana said, it's bigger.
It's the
You're
real
right.
200. It's the feel I wanted for 200, and I wanted to get from 200 is what I'm going to get from that fight.
Yeah, just like Conor said, UFC 200 tanked because he wasn't on it. This is, like you said.
It makes sense. It's the real UFC 200, my man.
That's UFC 202, Saturday night. You guys watch it. Everyone's going to watch it. You already know.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, be in.
Do not miss this one, guys.
I won't. I'm getting out of a wedding. You better not. All right, you guys. You know what time it is. It is KSD, knockout submission decision. It's the time that everyone loves to play. The favorite game. We still do need a freaking song for this game. All right,
question.
we got Tim Sylvia versus Brandon Vera. This is UFC 77.
Tim Sylvia versus Brandon Vera. UFC
Yes,
77. So this was a fight at heavyweight. I like Brandon Vera. Submission, third round.
That would be 0 points. That would be Tim Sylvia decision.
Oh,
That was a good one.
That's tough.
That was a
that's
tough
a tough fight.
Because a decision, I'm like, I bet he. See, decisions you don't really, they don't stand out, you know, like so they kind of disappear, so people don't remember them as much. All right, come on, give me who do we got?
Okay, your first fight of KSD is Kendall Grove versus Patrick Cote.
Kendall Grove versus Patrick Cote. I think Patrick Cote knocks out Kendall Grove second round.
He knocked out Kendall Grove, but in the first round.
So 2 points.
So
So
you got 2
knockout,
points.
and I got it right. Okay. All right, your second one. We got Drew McFredries versus Talis Latis. That would be UFC 90, 2008.
Okay, I'm going to go. Drew McFedries had really heavy hands back in the day. Talis Latis was on a big streak because he fought Anderson Silva for the title. So, and you said this was 2008?
2008, UFC 90.
UFC 90?
Went a little old school.
I'm gonna go Talis Latis. I believe he won Drew McFedries submission second round.
2 points. Talis Latis submission, rear naked choke, round one.
Oof.
Called him early.
Yeah, that's real tough to call submissions in the first round because people just go for it, you know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
All right, come on, give me my second one.
Your second fight was in 2007. You got Dean Thomas versus Clay Guida.
Dean Thomas versus Clay Guida. Wow. I like Clay Guida decision versus Dean Thomas.
Well, you were wrong, but it was a decision. Dean Thomas won by decision.
Dean Thomas won by decision?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 point.
So you got 1
No,
point.
2 points because that's the round too.
Well, how are you going to give
All
a
right,
point on
we
the
won't.
round,
Okay.
on a decision? It's always going to be
So
a
1
round.
point. Dean Thomas beat Clay Guida.
Yeah.
Bastard. Okay. All right, my third fight. We have Jason Brills versus Ryan Bader, and this is UFC 139.
Jason Brills. I've actually met both of these guys. Jason Brills was a jerk. Ryan Bader was pretty cool. but Jason Brills was a jerk. So I'm saying Ryan Bader sleeps Jason Brills. And I'm going to go first round.
Damn, 3 points.
Cha-ching!
The perfecta. All right, I gotta get at least 2 points on this one. All right, what we got?
Okay, you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Your third fight was at UFC 116. Chris Lytle versus Matt Brown.
What UFC?
UFC 116. Chris Lytle, Lights Out Lytle versus Matt the Immortal Brown.
I think Matt Brown submits him round 3.
It was a submission, but you were wrong, my friend.
It's
Chris
Lytle?
Lights Out Lytle.
Damn it.
Mounted triangle in the second round.
Second round.
And
so
it was
we got
actually a
one.
mounted triangle switched to an armbar.
That's 5-4. Damn it, I lost. You won.
We are the champions, my friend.
I'll get you next week.
I needed that redemption, finally. I was losing a lot of them.
That's a good one. I love that game, KSD. You guys all love it. Who doesn't love that game? Well, shoot. That's about going to be it for today. Stay tuned for next week. UFC Fight Night, Damian Maia versus Condit. We're going to be breaking that down. Also, the co-main event, Charles Oliveira versus Anthony Showtime Pettis.
Great fight.
Hey.
Featherweight debut for Showtime.
Come on back to next week. But that's it. This is the official weigh-ins. Get at us at MMA Heyday on Twitter, at Brennan Estes, at RyJ21. This is the official weigh-ins. I'm your co-host, Brennan Estes, with my other host,
Ryan Johnson.
See ya.